people, you're welcome again to another episode of A Be More. Like I would say, you guys are the real VIP. Thank you so much for your support so far to the brand. Now, without further talking, because I'm not going to be doing much of the talking today, we have a very esteemed personality in the studio today. Guys, okay, I'm going to read out his profile now. He's a man, first of all. He's married. Yes, he's not single. Don't worry, he's married. Then thirdly, he's a minister of God's word. He is the chief air traffic controller with the Nigeria Airspace Management Agency, that's NAMA. He is the president of the Yoruba Progressive Youth Association. He is an entrepreneur and he is also a helper of many. So guys, please welcome with me Prince Oghenetejire Ogegere. Where's the horn?
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Amidst your busy schedule, you still came. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Okay, guys, so we are in for a very swell time. Trust me. So, sir, it's nice to have you here again. To start with, we just want you to share your story. How has it been? Your story so far in the journey of life. Thank you.
Wow. First and foremost, let me appreciate you for deeming it fit to host me
Thank
in
you.
your TV. It's a pleasure to be here. You are
Okay.
also someone that I admire a lot, and
Oh.
I love what you do.
Oh,
So I want to encourage everyone to follow. I know that this is
thank
going
you.
to bless lives and touch them. So
Thank you.
for me, I'm a very humble person. Like you said, my name is Prince Oghenetejire Ogegere in full. I have been opportune. I'm still a very young man, but I've been opportune to do a whole lot of things. So many
Wow.
things in my short existence. So, like you said, I love God. I'm a minister of the gospel. I've been able to, or I've been opportune to lead in several instances, and it's very, very key to my heart because that's basically what we are on earth for.
Yeah.
But then, professionally, I work. I'm a civil servant with the Nigerian Space Management Agency,
Okay.
NAMA, and I do a whole lot of things. Like you said, I'm the president of the Yoruba Progressive Youth Association, and I've been involved with so many things, I was once a professional graphic designer. I still do graphic design, is my passion.
Wow.
I do a lot of creative things. Yes, I've done a lot of creative things, creative works. And then most importantly, business. And I put helper there because one of the things that, by the grace of God, I've been opportune to be involved in is help people a lot. So I realized that that is me. At a time in my life, people didn't like it. Some didn't like it. Some felt I was giving too much of myself away.
Okay.
Even myself, I used to feel bad because at times you feel used when you find yourself always helping. But when I went through my purpose and I looked at scripture, I realized that it's important. So I put it there, and it's important that I deliberately put it there. I'm a helper. I've helped so many people. It's almost natural that when anybody wants to start anything, they just come to me, and I'm always available for them. So I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it, and that's been my journey so far. I've helped a lot of things to start, and when I look back at them, I'm always very, very, very fulfilled that
Okay.
I did
Thank you.
contribute.
Wow. So that's just the tip in the iceberg. We are in for more, guys.
Yeah.
So quickly, sir, what would you say is the pivotal moment in your life that actually shaped your beliefs and values in becoming the man that you are today?
Okay. For me, basically, I there are moments. I won't say there is one very, very special moment. There have been moments
Okay.
in my life that are very pivotal to who I've become. So it's been a journey, but I would want to go back to the fact that it goes back to upbringing. I happen to be the eldest son of two disciplinarians.
Oh,
My both parents were strictly, they were teachers actually.
okay.
And then later my dad left the teaching profession and went into aviation, like I am now too.
Okay.
Okay, so my mom instilled a whole lot of disciplinary measures to make sure that we are shaped and we are
Mm.
not influenced by the environment. So what that did for me, or why I believe is very pivotal, is that we grew up in an environment that was surrounded by um, was like a ghetto-like environment. So we were kind of different. And if not for that kind of strong upbringing, we would have been really influenced by the environment.
Mm.
It also did something for me. It helped me to be able to own my decisions. So,
Wow.
um, because I was not allowed to do what every other person was doing, as little as don't go to the backyard to go and play. And like, why? I just want to go and play. It didn't seem like it's not as if we're doing bad things in quotes, but she just instilled that discipline, and that was very pivotal in my life. Then
Wow.
another significant moment in my life was when I gained admission. I was opportunity to be mentored from a very young age by my um, cousins, my uncles and aunties. So most of them were already in the university. So I was able to look at their universities. In fact, I started visiting their universities from when I was in JS2. They would
Wow.
take me, I would stay with them like 2 weeks. I stayed in Uniben for like 1 month. I went to Ambrose Ali, University of Ife, University of Ibadan. So when I got to the age, I decided I wanted to go to University of Ibadan. Then it became a challenge because
Mm.
getting admission into UI then was difficult. But so it took some years for me to gain the admission. And when I finally gained the admission, it changed something in me
Wow.
at that point. That was the first moment I realized that there's nothing impossible for me to achieve.
Mm.
Yes,
There's
it was,
nothing impossible for us to achieve.
yeah.
That's one.
So that's a very key moment. The other key moment, maybe as we talk, I would, so that I would bring up some other very, very vital moments in
Wow.
my
So
journey.
a lot of things has actually formed you in becoming the man that you are
Yeah, very
today.
true.
Yes, that's cool. So second question is, how do you maintain authenticity and integrity in an environment that often pressures public figures to conform? How do you maintain you in this kind of environment that would want to cringe you, to want to enter into the picture of what they want you to be?
Yeah, like I said, and I deliberately went back to my upbringing because
Yeah,
a man is formed by um, the people around him and then the decisions that he makes
next,
for
yeah,
himself. So um, you become who you are by self-development, but then environmental influence. So basically, the one that we didn't have a lot of say over was the environmental influence, which
yeah.
is our parents. I was lucky to have that. But then at a point, I had to also decide to be who I wanted to be. And so it was like the biblical example where it says, choose this day who you would
Serve.
serve. In my upbringing, I was exposed, like I said, to every social vice.
Hmm.
I was exposed to every social vice that you can name because of the environment I grew up in. But then, values, it starts with values.
Hmm.
So if your values are strong enough, you will not be influenced by the environment that you find yourself. So even as you grow, you will not, you will have learned how to stick by your values. So it depends on what you value. For me, I was able to decide that this is the life that I want to live, and not because it seemed rosy at the time,
Hmm.
but I just decided because of, like I said, I will always go back to my mom. There was a time I was in GSS 3
Hmm.
because my mom trained us very well. She used to beat us a lot, unfortunately. So I wanted to join the court,
Wow.
and then he said I was going to go through recruits. Not I told them that there is no amount of recruits that they will recruit that will be more difficult than my mother's beat. My mom can beat you for 2 hours, she's still beating you. But while she's beating you, she will be talking. She will be saying the things that you did. She will be correcting. She will keep talking, 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 talking. So I said I will not join, not because I don't have the strength or I'm not interested in joining, but because um what my mom has said and the values that she has instilled in me, I will break her heart. And that was just the only thing that stopped me. So, like I said, there are certain things that form, there are certain values and things that a man values. A man will not do certain things probably because he values his wife, probably because he values his um his job. So he would be punctual to work. A man will not start cheating because he has become popular, and then every popular person is cheating because he values fidelity. So if you've been able to instill those values, it will help you. And that's what has helped me actually. It's not been easy, but there are values that and I didn't just at every point in time I've always had to decide. I think that's the word also to decide because growing up as you are going as you journey,
Yeah.
there will be times where you will be like, should I not, should I
No.
not? So
Yes.
once you make the decision, you don't go back on it. You don't go back on it. And that's who I've been. I like to prove every decision. I like to prove every path that I follow. So once I've proven it, I'm able to stick with it. One of the reasons why people are influenced a lot, especially when they have become or they have gotten into the spotlight,
Yes.
is because they didn't prove their decisions. They didn't own them. So once the wind comes, it blows you. But if you decided before time that this is what I'm going to do, and you weigh the options, you made those decisions for yourself, it becomes easy.
Wow.
Easy. So for me, it's values. What you value
Mm.
is
Wow.
what will
Wow.
keep you.
Wow. That's deep. Like really deep. Thank you so much. So the first there's something I want you to point out.
Yeah.
In your journey so far, what was the major irritation? Because from your story, we could virtually see a build up. There is a build up from the boy to the teenager to the man that you are right now. There is this build up in your stories. So what was the irritation? Was there something ever that irritated you that made you feel that no, I just can't stay here. There is more to me as a man that I must become. So what was that irritating factor for you, especially in your environment?
Okay. Yes. My environment, um, there was a lot of mediocrity,
Okay.
I would say, amongst the people. And but the good thing about it is we had the opportunity of seeing people that we could want to become like.
Okay.
So it became an irritation where I saw people that had potentials, some of them even better potentials. Like I said, people around me, my mom, my aunt, they pushed me to become the best I could be, even academically
Yeah.
in school and all of that. But there were people I looked at because I'm this kind of person that from a very young age, I observe a
Observe.
lot and then I reflect. I would look at these guys and I say, this guy has great potentials, but he's not giving his best probably because of his environment. So it was very irritating to see people. I know a guy, he's very close. I don't want to mention his name. I don't want to mention how close he is to me. This guy was an exceptional footballer. From that little, I started telling that guy, you do very well. But
Took it
he just took it
laxly. Yeah.
with laxity. And today, he regrets. Anytime he sees me, he tell me that, Kai, I could play for Arsenal. Because there was no guy was complete. And it happened to so many people, even with the academics. Some people didn't do well, not because they even had better opportunities. Like I said, I was born in a home of two teachers, so we didn't have everything that we wanted financially. But I had people who they were share workers' children, their father were already traders and they had money, but just didn't see the need to do more or to go more. Then when we were all seeking for admission, they just say anything. Me, I was like, no, the one that I want, and if I don't get it,
I will not
I
go.
will not go for anything less. And that's what has pushed me to get to any height that I've gotten.
Wow. Oh God. That's great. Okay, quick one. How do you balance the criticism that comes with you,
Hmm.
your personality, your position as a person? How do you handle the criticism and still make sure that you are at your goal, you are still in furtherance of your goals in life?
Okay.
Because I know
Criticism.
that your
Yes.
position can be very controversial. So how have you handled it over the
Okay.
time?
Criticism is I want to be very realistic,
Yeah, please.
so I don't sound as if I was born with it. Criticism is something that will grow into handling. Yes, let me put it that way. First and foremost, it's something that will grow into handling. I didn't handle criticism very well at an earlier than now.
Okay.
Yes, I'll give you an example. So, first now to say is that I grew into handling criticisms, especially of your person, of what you want to do.
Do. Mm.
And if you are the type that already set um, goals for yourself, you will definitely be criticized. If you set standards for yourself, you'll be criticized. And not just by people who don't know you. It's more painful when it's from people who are very
People, yeah.
close to you. I remember the first serious criticism I had was when I decided I want to go to University of Ibadan. My pastor, my parents, the people around me said, no, you don't know anybody there. Right? And at the time I was abandoned. As a matter of fact, I gained admission in two other universities. The money they gave to me, I used it to go and run admission there. But when I came back, they appreciated who I had become
Mm.
because of that decision. So at that point, that first one got me depressed.
No.
Yes, it got me depressed. When I started, I talked about me being a helper. When I started out, always being involved in
People. Yeah.
people, helping to set up businesses, visions, churches, and all of that. Some of my friends criticized who I was until I developed into it. So you must, what helped me or what has helped me is that I always go back, like I said, to define myself. So once I define who I want to be as relating to certain things, I'm no longer wavered.
Mm.
So the criticisms don't come. And by the grace of God, right now we handle it better because we are focused on what we want to do. We are focused on the goals and the visions. So it's not like before when once you start hearing some certain things,
Mm,
you
just
start
go
doubting
down.
yourself.
Yes. Am I
You
doing the
start that,
right
am I doing the
thing?
right
Yeah.
thing? And that goes back to what I said at the beginning. That if I would speak to any young person, I would say own your decisions.
Mm.
It's very, very important to own your decision. Once you've owned the fact that this is what I want to do, you don't even have regrets, no matter how it goes. I got to that point where I said, I'm going to keep being me and just believe being who I am, no matter what. Even if it turns out negative,
Mm.
I won't regret it because at the point where I made the decision, that was the knowledge I had, that was the um, exposure I had. So why regret any actions?
Wow.
Yeah.
So in still on your position as a person
Hmm.
and the clouds that you've been able to amass for yourself. Okay, sir. So how have you been able to use your platform to help people foster their dreams in practical ways? What have you done so far? Or what are
Okay.
you planning to do with it?
Okay. The platforms I've been able to, the platform where I found myself, first and foremost, I must say that I'm an all in person. Yes,
Okay.
I'm 100%. If I'm into something, I'm into something. If I'm not into it, I'm not into it. So, whatever platform all the platforms where I found myself, I give my all. There's no how I will be part of something and you will not know that I'm part of it. So the first thing I do is once I decide I want to be part of this, I I give myself to it. At times it takes a long time for me to decide, but then once I decide, I give my all to it. And those platforms, I now vision and purpose is the most important thing. Take for
Mm.
example, as an air traffic controller, it's like as if it's a civil service work, but I've been able to mentor at least seven um, hoppers, and air traffic control assistant staff, many of them that have come through me. I use every opportunity, every platform I have to
Help.
minister
Hmm.
motivation, inspiration to those that I meet. So I'm able to creatively tweak every platform I have to
Yeah.
always do that.
Well,
Yes.
that,
It comes naturally, actually. I've done it several times, even in secular, ministerially. I'm able to just connect the dots and make sure that people are influenced positively with each other. And that's what drove me into being part of the Rural Progressive Youth Association also.
okay.
Okay.
So now, you talked about creativity. Yes. So what strategies does Prince Oghenetejire put in place? Because I know that first, for someone to go into for someone to venture into something, especially for the exposure that you've gotten and the things that you're exposed to, for
Hmm.
someone to do that, the person has to sit down and plan, especially when you're working with people. It can be very tasking. So what are some of the strategies that you have been doing or that you would want to still improve on to ensure that not just you are becoming more, but people around you as well?
Okay, when it comes to strategies to improve, I think we can see it in two ways. First and foremost, I discovered myself
Mm,
and I realized, or it was really mind blowing when I realized that we are creators. So for everybody, for any man to be creative or innovative, you must be true to your inner self.
mm,
I don't sound very spiritual, but for the Christians, we say to our spirit man because that's who we flow from.
yeah.
And we know that the Creator created everything by His Spirit. So everyone who has created anything is someone who has been true to that inner self. I remember when I was still very young, I'll be walking on the street. I will not close my eyes and I will say, I want to walk between this pole, electric pole to that electric pole and see what will happen. Things like that began
I
to
did that.
form
Mine was not electrical. Mine was under signboard. I would try and mark a
a
particular
particular
signboard
signboard.
and say, okay, within this time, then I'll close my eyes. But sometimes I wasn't doing it because I noticed that, okay, I was by the roadside. But the one
Yeah,
that was in the street, I did that a lot
yeah,
too.
yeah. So why I brought that example is so that
Mm,
people can understand that just stay very true to yourself. Now, creativity and innovation comes in two ways. First and foremost, by inspiration.
mm.
I remember when I was a graphic designer, if you give me a logo to design, I'll tell you, wait, I will just put it somewhere, just tell me the name. I'll just leave it. At times you start telling me, where's the logo? I tell them, don't worry. I just walk. And then one day I might just be in the bedroom or I might be walking on the street and it will just come, it will hit. Now, that is one way. Or I might be doing something completely different. Ideas will come.
Mm.
Now that's by inspiration. But then creativity also for me has also been a function of training. So one can train himself to put himself in the conditions to expect ideas to come. That's one. Then the environment to put yourself. Most times we get very busy and we push aside times for meditation, times for deep
That
thinking.
thing is very scarce right now.
Yes, it's very, very scarce. But if you want, especially for we leaders that have to create um, and foster paths,
Mm.
you must take out time to do that. And what it does also, in aspect of training, what it does is that it helps you to expect innovation. If I train myself, I've trained myself to the point where I expect ideas to come. So when they come, I'm able to just pen them down. They don't just flash past.
Okay.
They don't just go. I'm able to receive them from my inner man um, part time. Then also a mentality. I have this mentality that anything I touch, I make it better.
Mm.
I tweak it. If you give me something to design, I will design 5 different ones. I will send them to you like, I'm confused. Which one should I choose? I will tell you that, see, you better choose one though, because if you bring it back to me, I will still design another one and you will get confused. How? because I learned how to tweak things.
Okay.
So immediately I get into any organization, any association, any platform, I look at it immediately. I'm thinking, how do we make this better? How do we make this better? Because I've realized that there is always something more. It can always be better.
Can
Most
always
people
be
just get
better.
complacent once they achieve any
Mm.
level of success, and then they feel this cannot be done. But once you get to a place, or once you have something in your hands, always think, I don't have a better yesterday. Like I said at the beginning, I don't have any regrets because I give my best at every point in time. I move forward. Immediately I'm moving forward, I'm thinking, how do I do it better than I did it yesterday? Once you have that
Yesterday.
mentality, you will realize that creativity will just come naturally.
Naturally. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I really did not want this to end, but it's going to end. No.
Well,
So the last one for us before you leave, sir. What do you think is the vital ingredient that is missing in this generation, and how do we how do we tackle it, especially for the young ones coming up?
uh, ah, ah, young ones coming up. I'm still young.
No, I didn't. I know you were going to say that. That's why I said that thing. I knew you
Okay.
were going to
There's
say.
something that I I usually love to tell every young person that I meet, and the first thing I usually tell every young person is that where hope is lost, life is lost.
Mm,
Um, what destroys a young man is lack of hope. What we've lost in this generation is in the belief of truth,
mm,
the belief of truth. So um, we are very well. We live in a very fast and quick generation, and contrary to what many people would say, is that there's something wrong with this generation. There's something wrong with having to want to do things very fast. I don't believe that.
okay.
Yes, personally, I believe that we are evolving as humans, whether you are a spiritual person, whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God, we are evolving. And this generation is better than the previous generation.
Mm,
What this generation needs to hear, or what would they need to know, is that everything has a process. This generation lacks the hope and the faith in the process. I don't want to use the word faith so that I'll be able to reach out to a wider audience, but
mm,
that's the word. They lack faith in the process of becoming what they want to do or what they are meant to become. Now, the process for previous generations or different set of people might be different, but there must be a process. So I think that that thing is what is missing. It's not we can achieve different things at different paces. There are some things I achieved. There was a time I got 3 different degrees at the same time.
mm.
It was crazy. When I wanted to do it, my pastors, even my dad, said it's impossible. I went to pray and I asked God, should I do this? And he said, I will not tell you to do it. I will not tell you not to do it. So what he meant was, if you go ahead to do it, then I will give you the wherewithal to do it.
Mm.
If you choose not to do it, it's still fine by me. And I achieved what seemed like almost impossible because I was doing a course in Zaria. I was doing another course in Delta State. So I was shuttling between the
That's an
two.
Herculean task, though.
Yes, at the same time. But what I learned from that was that we can be anything that we want to be, just that we have to believe in the process. So
Mm.
this, what people lack these days is belief in the process. Once you tell them that this is the process, they don't want to follow through because they think that being fast is dodging process.
Mm.
No, you can be fast. I don't have a problem with us living in a fast generation. As a matter of fact, I encourage all my mentees that they should achieve the things I've achieved faster than I did
Mm.
or do better than I did. But they cannot achieve it by the snap of a finger. They must
True.
achieve it through a process. Just that
True.
their own process might be faster,
Because
might
they
also
are
be
looking.
slower,
Mm.
might be different, but they should just understand that there's a process. Once that
So true.
understanding is there, I think everybody will be patient with their processes and achieve anything that they want to achieve.
Ah, Guys, should we close or should continue? God, wisdom, wisdom. Wow. Thank you very much. This was a very engaging, thoughtful, and inspiring session with you.
It's an
We're
honor.
very, very grateful.
It's an
Thank you
honor.
so much. I believe that your notepad is full, guys. I mean, I'm going home now and I'm going to write down the things that I've learned today. Some of the things that I knew, I'm actually seeing it from a new light, and I believe you as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, guys, and this will be all for today's episode. I know you needed more, but we're so sorry we have to cut the session. Thank you very much again
Thank you,
for
Elimo.
counting us worthy to sit on our couch.
It's my honor and
Thank
my
you so much
pleasure.
for sharing so much wisdom. I believe you have learned a lot. I, for one, have seen a lot of things from a different and better perspective. You could do well to also like, share, and comment in the comment section what you've learned from this honorable man here today. Now, you can follow him on his social media handles. On Facebook, it's Prince Oghenetejire Ogegere, and there's a bracket Otis to it. On X, it's Otis Ogegere. On IG, it's Otis Ogegere, and you will get more wisdom nuggets. You haven't heard or seen anything yet. Cheers tomorrow, guys. I will see you next week. Again, thank you so much
Thank
for
you so much.
honoring us. We're grateful.
Mm.
Bye.